second video. So in this video, I'm going to take you through a 30 minutes Pilates class, and let's jump straight into it. So I'm going to start with our breathing. I would have you on the mat, but for the sake of the video, I'm just going to stay seated. So in here, you're going to find your neutral spine position. So have the back of your hip, back of your shoulders, and back of your pelvis in one line on the floor, knees bent, feet hip width distance apart. Have your hands on the side of your ribs. You're going to inhale, breathe into the sides. And exhale with the help of your hands. You're going to hug your ribs back in. And again. So really focus on breathing into the sides instead of towards your chest and at the back. Imagine your lungs are like balloons, and when you inhale, you're expanding your lungs to the sides. And exhale back. 2 more times in here. Last time. Getting yourself ready for the class. So now that we're done with our breathing, I'm just going to prop myself back on the mat, and you're just going to stay here. So again, have your feet hip width distance apart, knees bent, hands on the floor by your side. You're going to find your neutral pelvis position. So a neutral pelvis is when you have your pubic bone and your ASIS level and parallel to the floor. Hands on the floor by your sides. You're going to exhale, bring your pelvis to a posterior tilt, and then slowly bring your pelvis up, lower back off, mid back off the floor, and into a bridge position. Inhale at the top to hold. Exhale, starting from the chest. Think about keeping your hips up for as long as you can. Slowly return your spine back down to the floor, bone by bone. And when you have nowhere else to go, just let go of those hips and roll all the way back down to the floor. Make sure you bring your hips back to neutral before you roll up again. And when you're rolling down, you're just going to focus on the articulation of the spine and think about moving bone by bone. Start activating the core in here. When you're rolling up, you should feel an engagement in the core when you bring your pelvis in a posterior tilt. And when you're rolling down, your spine is in a flexion, so you should be able to feel a little bit of activation in the abs as well. 2 more times in here. So really feel your hip flexors lengthening when you're at the top. Making the next one the last one. And this time we're going to stay at the top. So after a couple of movements, you should be able to feel it in your hip extensors, which means your glutes and your hamstrings are ready. And now we're going to take it up a notch by trying to lift our left foot off the floor into 90 degrees and back down. And then the right side and down. So you want to focus on keeping your pelvis up in here. And although you are shifting weight from side to side, try not to tilt your pelvis too much. Make sure you're not holding your breath. Remember that breathing pattern we practiced in the beginning of the class. We're gonna do it for 3, 2, last one, and you're going to bring both feet back down to the floor. Inhale to lengthen your spine even more. Exhale, starting from the chest. Slowly return your spine back down to the floor, bone by bone. Nice. Now interlace your fingers. So you're going to place your hands at the back of your head. Have your elbows within your peripheral vision, so make sure you're not just dropping them to the sides. Inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhale, starting from the head, you're going to nod your head to curl up. Inhale to stay at the top, and exhale, slowly roll back down. And again, this time you're going to exhale to curl up. Inhale to roll down. Exhale to curl up. Inhale to roll down. So when you're curling up in here, you want to make sure you curl up till your shoulder blades leave the floor. So you're not just using your neck. Think about strengthening your ribs towards your hips And give me 2 more times. And last time, we're going to stay at the top in here. Keeping the curl up, you're going to try to float the left foot off the floor, bring it back down, and the right. And down. Keep going. So when you're doing this movement, you want to make sure you're not folding your legs in too much. So your knee stays on top of your hips. We go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring both legs back down. Slowly roll your upper body down. Good job. Now in here, you're gonna, before rolling up, bring your left leg up to 90, right leg up to 90. Keep yourself in this tabletop. And inhale to lengthen, exhale, curl up. Inhale to stay, you're gonna reach your left toes down to the floor this time. Exhale, bring it back up. Down and up. So keep going in here. You want to keep this 90 degree in the knee when you're reaching away. So make sure you're not just holding and touching the floor. So you're keeping that 90 and reaching away. Keep the curl up. Make sure you're not slowly rolling down. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring both legs back up. You're going to slowly roll it down. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, curl up again. This time, keeping the curl, you're going to keep your knees together. Bring your toes down to the floor. And bring it back up. Both legs down at the same time. And up. So remember that breathing pattern we talked about in the beginning. Make sure you're still breathing in here, not holding your breath. 3, 2, feel those abs firing up. Last one. And slowly roll your upper body back down. Whew. Okay, now release your hands from your head. You're going to bring your hands just under your knees. Starting with the head knot, you're going to slowly curl up until your shoulder blades leave the floor. You're going to reach your toes down towards the floor. And slowly bring yourself in the seated position. Inhale at the top to lengthen your spine. Exhale, starting from the tailbone. So you're going to start with the posterior tilt. Slowly floating your feet off the floor. Bring yourself all the way back down. Inhale at the bottom. Make sure you're rolling all the way down. Exhale, starting from the head. Curl up again. Inhale at the top to lengthen. And exhale, roll back down. So again, for this movement, we're focusing on the articulation of the spine. So you want to be rolling up bone by bone and rolling down bone by bone. Try to avoid using too much momentum when you're rolling up and down. So it's really a slow movement instead of a rocking position. Making this one the last one, and you're going to slowly roll all the way back down. But only till your lower back hits the floor. So your upper back stays off. And then once your feet get back into the tabletop position, you're going to float your arms off down by your side, and you're going to do small pulses. So you're going to inhale to pulse for 5 and exhale to pulse for 5. So this is the hundredths. So for today, we're just going to stay in this modified position. But if you feel like taking your legs out in a diagonal, you can also do that. Make sure you're following the breathing pattern. Inhale for 5, exhale for 5. Keep reaching your fingertips away. Make sure you're not slowly rolling back down. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly roll down. You're gonna hug your knees and sway your knees from side to side. Alright, now we're gonna go into a double leg stretch. So interlace your fingers, place them at the back of your head again. Keeping your legs up at 90. You're gonna exhale to curl up. This time you're gonna reach your legs out into a diagonal and inhale, bend your knees. Exhale, reach your legs out. Inhale, bend. 3 more times in here. 2 and 1. Bring your legs back in, slowly roll it down. Keep your legs up at 90. You're gonna reach your arms up above head and exhale, circle your arms down by your side. Inhale, take your arms up and exhale, circle them down by your side. 2 more times in here. Last time. Now slowly bringing your hands at the back of your knees. You're gonna exhale to curl up. Staying in this curl, you're gonna combine both movements. So you're gonna reach your arms and legs out. And exhale, circle your arms down as you bend your knees in. Exhale, legs out. And bring them in. 4 more times, just like this. Keeping the curl up. Last time. Now staying up, you're gonna reach up even more for 3, 2, 1, and slowly roll back down. Nice. Take a deep breath in and slowly exhale. Bring yourself all the way up to a seated position. And then in here, you're gonna cross your legs, have your hands down to the floor, swing your legs to the back, and slowly lower yourself all the way down to the floor. Down by the side of your chest, the tip of your nose slightly touching the floor. In here, imagine there's a cube of ice just underneath your belly button. So you're lifting your belly button away from the mat. Imagine you're bringing your belly button towards your spine. In here, inhale, imagine you're rolling a pencil away with your nose. You're gonna bring your head up, neck up, chest up, and exhale, chest down, neck down, head down. And again. So we're not bringing ourselves up into a swan yet, we're just working on the prone press-ups. But again in here, focus on the articulation of the spine, this time in extension and not flexion. 2 more times in here. And last time. And slowly bring yourself all the way back down. Right, so lengthen your arms down by your side. Doing the exact same thing, you're going to bring your head up, neck up, chest up. So make sure you're not breaking your neck and looking up in here. You want to keep the length in the spine. And make sure you're not breaking the flow with looking up, and you want to keep the length in the spine. And your neck follows the elongation of the spine. In here, floating your arms off the floor. You're gonna do small pulses up. So again, keeping that engagement in the core. Make sure you're not arching your back. You should be feeling it in your core and not your lower back. If you don't really feel that, or if you really feel it in your lower back, try to squeeze your glutes a little bit more. Lengthen your tailbone away from your head and see if that helps. If not, feel free to come back down in a lying down position and bring yourself back up to the position again. You go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly bring your hands down, roll all the way back down. Now push yourself back to a child's pose. You can sway your hips from side to side and relax in here. And on the exhale, you're going to bring yourself back in this quadruped position. Make sure your hands are directly under your shoulders and knees right under your pelvis. So you don't want to be sitting back or pushing forward too much. Make sure it's right on top. And make sure you're not dropping your belly down like this, so keeping your core tight and your spine in neutral. Make sure your neck is lengthened so you're not looking up or dropping your head down. And you're looking in between your hands and towards the mat. In here, inhale, gonna slide your left leg out, taking it 1 inch off the floor, bring it down and back in. And then the right, and down, and in. Keep going. So when you're taking your leg up, you want to feel the lengthening in the hip flexor. So you're working on the hip extensors, so the glutes and the hamstring, and you're using that movement to lengthen the hip flexors. Also, when you're doing any weight bearing on your arms, you want to soften your elbows slightly, so make sure you're not hyperextending them. And when you're doing this movement, you don't really need the height from your legs, you just need to feel the muscles. So you make sure you're not tilting your hips and doing this. You want to try to keep your hips level and hip bones pointing down towards the floor. And on the next one, you're going to add opposite arms. One more time on each side. Last time. Slowly bring them all the way back down and relax. Okay, now I'm going to bring yourself to the side and have your forearm down to the floor. Have your arm to the free arm in the front and have your legs stacked on top of each other. You're going to have your legs slightly in front of your torso, so it's not directly under, it's slightly in front. Try to keep your hips on top of each other so you're not resting like this in here. You're lengthening the left side away and make sure both sides of your waist stays equal length. Making sure that the neck is long. You're going to float the top leg off the floor. Point your toes to bring your leg forward. Flex your heels to bring your leg back. So you go inhale to go forward. Exhale to go back. And when you're doing this, you want to try to keep your torso as steady as you can. So make sure you're not arching your back to bring your leg back and flexing forward when you bring the leg forward. So really feel the stretch in the front of the hips. Last time, we're going to stay at the back. In here, point your toes. We're going to draw 5 small circles. So you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now reverse 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the leg up. You're going to flex your heel, bend your knee in, and exhale, push your legs back up. And again, bend your knee in and up. So your legs don't have to go too far high up. You make sure that the hips are still stacked on top of each other in here. Making the next one the last one. I'm gonna stay out. In here, take your leg up and down in a very small range. So again, making sure that the hip stacks on top of each other. You don't want to bring your leg all the way up and have your hips tilted. So make sure it's in neutral. 4, 3, 2. Now stay at the top for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now slowly relax. Good job. Now bring yourself up to a sitting. You're just gonna swing your legs over to the other side. Same thing in here, forearm down to the floor. Make sure the hips are stacked, legs slightly in front of you. Weights are equal length. Free hand in front and neck is long. Floating the top leg off the floor. Point your toes to go forward. Flex your heels to go back. Point to go forward. Flex to go back. So in this movement, you're actually working the front of your body and the back as well. So they work equally to make sure you're not leaning either side. And you should be able to feel your glutes and your hamstring when you're taking your leg to the back. And a little bit on the hip flexor when you're going forward. For this movement, you also feel the hip abductors as well because they're keeping your leg up against the gravity. 2 more times in here. Emphasize on going back. Last time, stay at the back. In here, pointing your toes. 5 small circles. You go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now reverse. You go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Flexing heels, bend your knee in, and exhale, push it back up. So if you need the feedback, feel free to bring your hands just on your hips to remind yourself that your hips need to stack on top of each other. If not, just have your hands back down to the floor. 2 more times just like this. Last time your legs stay out. In here, pointing your toes, you're gonna bring your leg up and down. Just very small range. You don't have to do it and have your legs all the way up. That's not necessary. 4, 3, 2, last 1. Your legs stay up in here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Now slowly relax. Bring yourself back into a seated position. You're gonna face the front and have your feet mat width distance apart. So you want to sit tall in here, but make sure you're not pushing too hard with your back, and it's a comfortable position. So if you need to bend your knees in order for your spine to be long, that's also okay. Or if you have a yoga block, you can just prop that right under your hips. That's also fine. Hands in front of your shoulders, lengthening your spine. You're gonna take an inhale. Imagine you're growing tall into the ceiling. Exhale, gonna lift up and over, flexing over your knees, reaching forward. And then inhale, starting from the bottom part of the spine. You're gonna slowly restack and roll all the way up to sitting tall. And again, exhale, lifting up and over. And inhale, restack your spine. Nice. A couple more times just like this. So you want to make sure this movement is stretching your spine instead of your hamstring. So you don't want to flex and reach all the way forward. You want to keep that length in between. You want to keep that length in your spine. So imagine there's a huge beach ball in front of your torso and the mat. And slowly rolling up. Just a couple more times. Last time. Nice. Sitting tall. Now you're going to stack your arms together. We're doing spine twists. So stay in same position. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, you're going to twist towards the left. Inhale, bring yourself back to the center. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, back to the center. Keep going. So you want to make sure you're rotating from your ribs and your chest and you're not leading with your elbows. So a lot of people make the mistake of doing this movement starting from the elbows, which means they have the elbows way up, and make sure it just stays in front of your shoulders. One more time on each side. Last time. And slowly relax. Nice. Now cross your legs. You're going to bring yourself into a standing position. Alright, now in a standing position, we're going to work on our roll downs. So again, imagine the back of your head, back of your shoulders, and back of your pelvis in one line. Inhale, think about lengthening your spine. Exhale, starting from the head. You're going to slowly roll down, bone by bone. Deep breath in at the bottom, and exhale, slowly restack your spine, starting from the tail, rolling all the way back up to standing. Nice, and again. So similar to the spine stretch we did earlier, you'd also want to make sure there's space in between your torso and your legs so you're not stretching your hamstring and bringing your torso all the way in. You think about lengthening the spine and restacking and rolling down when you're doing the movements. One more thing to pay attention to, you want to try to keep your weight towards the front. So you're not leaning towards the heels like this. Try to shift your weight towards the ball of the foot. Just 2 more times like this. And last time. And you are done. Well done, guys. Alright you guys, that's the end of my video. Thank you guys so much for watching and following along. If you have any questions or if you have any movements that you want me to go through next, tell me in the comments down below. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video and subscribe if you want to see more. Bye!